progress disappears every time life gets busy, stressful, or even fun like vacations, this episode is for you because your problem isn't your discipline, it's your all or nothing mindset. Hi, I'm Jen.
And I'm Erin. Welcome to Life Beyond the Scale.
All right, Erin, how do you feel about this perfectionist mindset or this all or nothing mindset when it comes to your health? Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I can
The
totally.
short answer.
Yeah, I have spent many years doing that and have come to the conclusion that it doesn't work. Trying to be perfect just blows up in my face, and that being more forgiving of myself, being more understanding of my circumstances, that, just because I think I'm going to have a great week doesn't mean it's going to be a great week because things come up. But I mean, even the thought about like we're heading into the vacation time. And somebody was saying that they're gonna leave Weight Watchers because, they've got so many things going on, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, what all are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, I've got a couple parties and I've got a vacation." And I said, "So, basically, you've got, like, 14 days maybe that you're gonna be off plan, but what are you gonna do the rest of them?" And I don't think she liked it when I asked her that question, but I was like, I just wanted to get her thinking of, like, you're not gonna be doing stuff every single day. So, why are you gonna treat every day like it's a holiday when you're not actually on holiday?
Yes, this is the time. I mean, you've got a cabin now, or those we know people that are traveling or just have a lake house, or they, you know, go up north for the summer, all of those type of things. But really, they just live there. But our mindset is, woohoo, let's jump into the pit, let's drink, let's eat, let's indulge, and let's put our health on the shelf. However, and by the time we get back to it, usually our health has deteriorated even more, or the scale has gone off. We start to decide that we're good or bad based on what we weigh or what kind of meal we ate. And so, as soon as I think I did something wrong or bad, I might as well just throw in the towel. Let's start again on Monday. Let's start after the vacation. Let's start after the stress. Let's wait until after the remodel is finished. Wait, wait, wait. There really is never a good time to take care of your health. And if we don't start realizing that we've got to kind of lower some expectations, we're never going to make the time to take care of us.
I remember I bought a bunch of clothes one year. And I remember thinking, well, you can't go on a diet. You just bought all these new clothes. I mean, they're not going to fit and then you won't be able to wear them. So then you wasted all this money. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, if I'd lost 10 pounds, they still would have fit. If I'd lost 20 pounds, they'd still fit. But I was like, it became well, I'm just going to wait until the next season. Yeah. The whole thinking of like, well, I made it till Tuesday. So oops, the rest of the week is gone. I'll have to start again next
Mm.
Monday. Was there a marketing thing back in the day that said start again Monday? Start Monday's your day to start. No, any day, any moment, any time is your time to start.
Absolutely. Any meal. Right.
Mhm.
And why is it the self-talk maybe of how we're always waiting to just begin and then there should be an end? Maybe it's the way that we talk to ourselves about, I have to get off this medication. I have to lose weight. I have to fit into that certain size clothes. Well, that just turns the brain to focus only on that one tangible thing, which in some ways is fine. It's a goal. However, the mindset is you can stop as soon as you cross that finish line. As soon as that item fits you, as soon as the scale shows you the number that you've been waiting for, now I'm done. And with that kind of self talk, we're going to just go back to all of our old behaviors, which means we're going to restart again anyway. So let's stop talking perfection. Let's stop doing black, white, and let's figure out how to learn how to live in the gray so that
Yeah.
we're just talking to ourselves about how a healthy person lives. How does a unfit person move? How do I want to age and what does that look like? And so we really want to just kind of acknowledge that we get it. Life is messy and hard and complicated. We have aging parents. We have more responsibilities. We have less time, more stress, and we haven't even talked hormones.
No, it's It is all of those things
All
all
of the
wrapped up.
things.
It's and it can be so overwhelming, and it's so easy to be like, "I'll start again when I have energy."
The busy
I don't actually know when that's ever gonna happen again.
Yeah, right. I have no idea. Are we just kind of using that as an excuse to wait and not do the work?
Yes, I mean, I can only speak for myself on that one, but yes, it's definitely an excuse of like, I don't really want to work that hard right now. I think I'll just, I'll just kind of glide. I'll just kind of slide through and it'll all be waiting for me and it is kind of like laundry. It'll still be waiting for me the next day. But it also means that depending how long you let it lag, you may find yourself even further back than where you started. And that's a gut punch.
Right. And then we start to feel shame and embarrassment and disappointment. And that begins its own separate vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So life isn't going to get, we know life is busy. We're carrying a big mental load. I have a really supportive husband. I'm blessed in that way. However, I don't know if he really understands the mental load that I carry. As helpful as he is with, we don't have our design, that's his job, that's my job, right? Like we're a team. He helps with dinner, dishes, the kids, whatever. However, I don't know if he understands what's all going on in my head. Like how all of these things actually get done. So, as helpful
You
as he is, I need to figure out a way how to bend so I don't break. And that begins with shifting this mindset from perfect to what's doable, bare minimum? How do I do it messy? Because I can't do it perfect. Absolutely. And if this is how many tabs we have open on our computer, of course, there's that many plus more open in our brain because we also don't have on the computer what's for breakfast, lunch, dinner, who's going to do the grocery shopping, all of those day to day tasks. In some ways, we're mentally exhausted. We're in fatigue mode emotionally and even just physically, mentally. So today is really just to say, hey, we see you, we hear you, and let's figure out a way to kind of shift this mindset. Maybe we start with ideal me, ideal healthy me. What does she look like? Is this about meal planning? Is it exercise? Is it my nutrition? Is it how much water I want to drink or what time, how many hours I want to sleep at night? What's my ideal? And then really kind of breaking it down to like, okay, on a super busy day, this is what it could look like. And on the bare minimum, I'm in survival mode day, this is okay too. And I can still be proud of myself on bare minimum day because it's more than the old me that would just be like, oh my gosh, life just threw me a curveball. I get to do nothing. I'm going to do nothing because I can't handle one more thing. But if we could even just do the messy version of our health, the bare minimum, that's going to kind of start to build some self efficacy again, which spirals into positivity. Maybe I don't have time to do a 60-minute workout. Whoever even said that we had to work out for an hour? Like, let's shoot that person. What? Fitbit came up with 10,000 steps. Let's lower the expectation and be like, how many steps a day can I feasibly take in my lifestyle with my health concerns, with my mobility issues? But then also on a bare minimum, messy day, boy, dang it, I'm going to be proud of myself if I can hit 2,000 or I can stand up every time my watch tells me to. What does that look like for protein, for tracking, all of that? Because your success isn't built on, the best days. It's built on the days that you don't quit. It's built on the days that you show up for yourself.
I wish more people would realize that. It's a tough sell to tell people that, really the easy days, the days where you're doing it all, it's great. That's great. Love you for it. But when you actually show up on the days when you don't feel like it, that is it. That is the true spirit of like, guess what? Look at you go when you don't feel like it, when you're sick, when you're tired, when you have too many things, and you actually just do something. And literally, it can be anything, like you said. I
Something is
think
more
about
than
drinking a
nothing.
cup of water. But you're like, all
Yes.
right, I drank a glass of water. Everybody's
Yes.
like, what's that going to do? I'm like, you'll feel better. You'll hydrate.
And then if I can go from that to be like, maybe I laugh at myself. Maybe I can just acknowledge that I feel a little hydrated. My brain shift from the all the things I did wrong, all the things I didn't accomplish to I did this one thing great or well or messy, sloppy, however, but now I might want to do the next healthy thing. And so
Yeah.
it begins that positivity in
And sometimes just letting like the working out I've been doing
Mhm.
hasn't been for very long. I mean, some days I do the full 20 to 30 minutes, and then other
Mhm.
days I tell myself 5 minutes. And I have stopped at 5 minutes and been like, not today. This is it. That's
Mhm.
it. But I was proud of myself that I actually
'Cause you
did the
did
five
5
minutes
minutes.
because I did 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Now, is that going to give me six pack abs? No, it's not. But it's also what it is going to give me is the fact that I stood by what I said I would do. And I think for many of us, what happens is we erode what we say we're going to do and we start to feel just shame and guilt and just feel
Mhm.
like that negative self-talk starts and it's like, well, I might as well cuz I didn't do that too.
I love the idea of thinking, maybe it's not what I wanted to do or how much I normally can do, but by doing something, it almost to me, the word that pops in my head is control. It takes me from being out of control, out of my norm, out of my circumstances and my comfort into I'm controlling that I can move for 5 minutes, that I can drink 1 cup of water, that I can eat a little protein with my snack today. It's I'm back in charge, even if it has nothing to do with how it's gonna affect the number on the scale or, like you said, six-pack abs. No, of course not. But for whatever reason, as soon as I do something that I'm not proud of, I'm willing to throw in the tub. Right? Like when you say it out loud, not throw in the tub, but like toss in the towel, I should say. It's that idea of like, if I told you, oh my gosh, Aaron, I got a flat tire today, and then I went out and like stabbed the other three tires, you would tell me I was an idiot, right? Like we would be like, what are you doing? But why do we do it every single day when we put this weird expectation on ourselves and then when we can't live up to this perfection that nobody created except you, all of a sudden I'm ready to be like, forget it, I quit, it's not working, I can't do this, my life is too hard. I understand that if you used to walk 3 miles a day and then you break your toe or you have a heart attack or you have to move and now all of a sudden you can hardly go get the mail by yourself. I get it. That's a hard punch, right? Like that, it is hard to overcome that, but we got to meet ourselves where we are.
It's a good thing to remember also that like let's just say this is the first time you're doing a
Yes.
a new lifestyle.
Anything.
Whether it is an activity, it's cooking, whatever. Maybe you've never been the best cook. Maybe you've never been an athlete. You're never going to be perfect right out of the gate. I will say, I'm going to throw back to our last video on protein.
Yeah.
The sound was off. The graphics, the letters dropped in the beginning, and it literally killed me to put it out there because I want it to be perfect. But we tried new things and they didn't necessarily equate to what the expectation was.
Sure.
I could have just said, well, we're just not going to put it out. We're just not going to do it. But
Hmm.
there was value in what we said and what we learned. And so to be able to accept that it wasn't perfect, that it was okay. I mean, I could have spent 3 hours to fix something that was on the screen for approximately 3 seconds.
Right.
No. No. So learning how to be more forgiving of yourself when you try
Mm.
something new and it doesn't go like you see somebody else and they can do it so easily the first time.
Mhm.
Everybody has different skills.
Back to that self talk. We're learning. Right. And so as soon as we decide that we failed or we've blown it because we ate one unhealthy thing or watched an episode of something instead of getting up and going for that walk that you said you were going to do, if I can change that self talk to say, I'm still learning how to manage my time, I'm still learning how to live this new healthy lifestyle. There's some grace in that. There's some comfort, but there's also permission to keep trying and to keep learning from experience. We're not learning from starting from scratch. We're learning from experience. And so
And
what is the
I'm sorry.
no, no, go
You're far more likely to try again if you don't beat yourself into a pulp. You know, if you're like, all right, somebody said, oh, well, that's just letting yourself off the hook. I'm like, no, not necessarily. You're recognizing where you are and recognizing, okay, that didn't go great. Yeah.
awareness. So we got to start by lowering the expectation, talking with some kindness to ourselves, but also maybe to kind of plan ahead of time. All right, is this a stressful time? Is it a celebratory time? The end of the school year, vacations, college kids, all of that is happening. Instead of I'll just start over after or I'll start over when, we almost need to say, okay, I don't have to hit the pause button. I might just need to tweak this a little bit and decide what's doable, but also kind of the bare minimum messy version. How do I live in the gray instead of everything being black and white? So
Well,
we
you
just
know,
need to, we need,
you had told me about what one of your members was talking about, how they have certain guidelines about never miss twice. And I know James Clear has that one. And it's like, that makes so much sense. It's like once is an accident or something comes up, twice is a decision. If you miss twice, you're making a decision, and it's more likely going to be a third, fourth, fifth, too, also.
and that becomes a pattern.
Yes.
So we want to catch that before it turns into an unhealthy habit loop. Yeah, that rule of two, never miss twice. Or is it two workshops? Is it two meals of tracking? Is it two glasses of water? Is it two walks, two workout sessions? Whatever it is that you've kind of decided for yourself. And then again, do I have a rule that I can put into place that's something tangible on a busy day? This is what the workout's going to look like. On a busy day when I don't want to make dinner, can't make dinner, don't have time to have dinner, ideally I should have planned ahead, put something in the crock pot, planned a meal, packed a lunchbox, done all the things. Instead, I'm going to bring it down to that doable, bare minimum, messy version and be like, all right, ideal can't happen, isn't happening. But if I pull through a drive through, this is what I'm going to get that is my best choice there. Right. That's something that I can do. We're going to, what is it? Like shrinking the goal, don't abandon the goal.
Mhm. Well, for anybody who started in January on their health and wellness journey, you have that January energy, but by the time you get to we're coming on the end of April, going into May, which I always feel like it is every celebratory season. It is the beginning of the celebratory season, and it just kind of goes a little higher. So being able to be like, all right, what are the things that I did in January that I can bring forward? I don't need to bring all of them. Just need to bring one, maybe two, and they don't have to be perfect, but figuring out like what's still doable.
I just had somebody tell me that her goal is to walk 100 miles in April. However, she wanted to kind of, I guess, elevate that to say 100 miles while wearing my weighted vest, an
Good for her.
intentional walk. So if she was just going by what her, fitness monitor said, she probably is hitting that in just day-to-day step. She also does some, like a yoga class and ice skating and things. So she probably is going to hit this goal. But for her, ideal is no, 100 miles with the weighted vest on, an intentional walk, which averages out to around 3 miles a day. In the
That's pretty good.
past, yeah, right. I mean, it's a great goal. In the past, though, if the weather had gotten messy, sloppy, rainy, cold, snowy, whatever, instead, now, she's trying to be like, all right, if I miss a day, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh my gosh, I failed, so let's just stop walking. It might be, all right, today, because of the weather, I had to miss, or today, because of my schedule, I could only do 2 miles instead of 3 miles. There may be a chance on some days that she's going to go 3.5 miles or 3.25 miles. And the reality is, when she hits 100, whether it's in April or the first week of May, she still did 100 miles. And so we really have to stop talking to ourselves like, I'm on plan, I'm off track. Let's be somebody who shows up imperfectly and keeps going. Let's be consistent over perfect. Doesn't mean you disappear as soon as life gets inconvenient.
That keeping going. Yeah. I that probably is one of the hardest things to do is just to keep going even when you're like, "Oh, it'd be so easy just to stop." I could just cut myself some slack and be like, I'm gonna take the next however many months off." I think about that one lady would be like, "Oh, I'll see you in October, but then I'll be gone after that. I'll see you again in January." It's like, just stay. Don't quit
If
starting
you never quit, you
over.
never have to start.
It's so true. It's so true because even when you start something, even if you're not doing all the things, you're still doing some of the things. You just don't always give yourself the credit of like, you are paying attention, probably better than you did prior to your very beginning. Maybe it's not perfect, but who is?
It's unattainable and it's definitely not sustainable.
I don't want you to aim for perfect. I want you to prove to yourself that you can keep going even when it's messy. So leave us in the comments. What's the bare minimum on a hard day? What's that one thing or two things that you do even when the day gets ahead of you? We want to hear what you do.
And if you need help building this version of you, it's exactly what I do with my coaching clients. We try to come up with a plan that fits real life. So if you'd like help with that, message us minimum and I'll help you create the bare minimum messy day for yourself. Stick around for our coaching corner. Remember, you're more than a number on the scale and you deserve to live a life beyond it. Don't have a motivation problem, and it's not because you don't want this bad enough. Because if that were true, you wouldn't keep starting over. Here's what's actually happening. You hit rock bottom. You go to your closet and those fat pants are starting to feel pretty snug. And now you are motivated. You are focused. You are at Whole Foods buying up the entire produce department, and you might even buy a gym membership. You are doing all the things, and you might stick with it. You might go hard for a few days, maybe even a week. And then life happens. One busy week, one sick kid, a stressful day, and all of a sudden you miss a workout and you grab something quick and easy instead of that meal you already had planned. And it's in that moment that your brain says, see, I can't stick with anything. I always fall off. What's wrong with me? I might as well just give up. And instead of having just one off day or one off meal, you turn it into just stopping completely. Not because you don't care and not because you don't want it, but because it feels like you failed. And here's the truth that most women never learn. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's not about doing everything right. It's about what you do next after things go imperfectly. Because the people who get results, they don't avoid messing up. They don't spiral. They don't quit. They just get back to what they do next. It's the next choice. That's the skill. It's not about how long you can be strong or how much willpower you have, and it's definitely not about being perfect. But it's learning about how to keep going even when life gets messy. So if you've been stuck in that cycle of starting, quitting, trying again, quitting again, on and off this vicious cycle, there is nothing wrong with you. You just haven't learned how to restart without shame. And that's exactly what I help clients with at Empower Wellness Coaching. And once you have that, everything changes. Because you're not starting from scratch, you're starting again from experience.